Okay folks, we're going to do another appetizer, although if you do a lot of these they could be a complete meal. In fact, this is a dish that you may be familiar with from a particular restaurant. It's called Bang Bang, but we're not going to call it that here. We'll call it Bada Boom Shrimp. How about that? So in order to make it, if you know the dish, it's actually a crunchy shrimp with a sauce over top of it. So, but yet it stays crunchy. So if you think about it, that couldn't be flour, because if it was flour based, once you put the sauce over top of it, then of course no longer would it be crunchy. So I came up with a dish just kind of thinking through my mind that it's going to have to be something like cornstarch, and that's how I make it. So you get your shrimp, and here we have some shrimp that I peeled earlier, and in fact you can see the peels right there. Now why did I put them in a bowl? Why not just toss them? You could, but you could also save these and steep them for a sauce, like if you're going to make a bisque or something like that. Anywhere you might want a little bit of shrimp water. But keep in mind, if you're going to do that, steep these shrimp shells. Do not boil them. Once you boil them, they go to a whole other way. It's just not pleasant. So I take the shrimp here that you got here and hit it with a little garlic powder. Okay, how much you use is obviously completely up to you. And I would let that sit for, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, up to 30 minutes perhaps. And so just hit it with that. And I like to use a little Tony Chech's. If you're familiar with Cajun stuff, Tony Chech's is the bomb. Excellent stuff. And notice it says no MSG also, no monosodium glutamate. So I just hit it with a little bit of that as well, but not too much, because you can always add some later. But you're going to want to flavor it up a little bit. And because it's got salt in it, it has a tendency, when you put salt in things, it has a tendency to toughen meats up. So you wouldn't want to put too much at this juncture. But just hit it up and then let it sit for a little bit. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce for our, what do we call it? Bada Bing shrimp, right? So we want to start out with some mayonnaise. Get some mayonnaise in a bowl here. And you'll notice I'm not a big person to measure. I'm just not a big measurer. So what is that, guys? Maybe 4 tablespoons or so? We'll call it that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of horseradish sauce in here as well. Kind of give it just a little bit of a bite. And then some hot sauces. We'll use this type. And get this thing going on. Obviously, Mancave Munchies, we like our spicy stuff around here, right? And just hit it with a different kind of hot sauce. And then this specifically should be a hot sauce, but it also is a little bit sweet. Okay, and in fact, there's brands you can buy out there on the store shelves, but we're going to make our own today. So in order to make it a little sweet, we're going to add just a little bit of honey. And I can smell it already. I think it's going to come out just right.
Should we call the fire department now?
Yeah, it's not going to be too bad. I don't think these two are not too. Although that one is smelling pretty good. But just incorporate this really well, make it nice and creamy, and then we're going to put that right over top of the shrimp once we take them off. Okay, folks. Now we're going to move the shrimp forward a little bit more. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that after I shelled the shrimp, I dried them very good. That'll allow the cornstarch mixture to stick to them a lot more, because you know how shrimp sometimes can be a little mealy. So take your cornstarch here after you've flavored them up a little bit with your Tony Chech's or whatever kind of Cajun type of Creole type of spice you want, and then your garlic powder, and just coat them real well with cornstarch. Okay, so you're just going to get in there and make sure that they're as dry as you can make them, and this stuff will stick. Now some people like to use a little like maybe egg wash, which you can do, but to me, I don't think there's any. It's not necessary. You can see how it's just sticking right onto the shrimp all by themselves. That cornstarch is. So see how it's sticking? And that's going to make a nice little coating. It's going to get nice and crispy. Okay, so we're going to start preparing our dishes here so we can plate this once we're done. Because as soon as you're done with cooking the shrimp, you want to throw the sauce on it real quick and then just put it right into the bowl. So here's how we do this. We cut up a little bit of romaine or head lettuce, often called iceberg, and just get it in the bottom of your bowls, or in this case, we're using what's called ramekins. I know that's a word that's probably foreign to most guys out there, but it really has a different name. It's not small bowl. It's called ramekin. So let's just get this stuff in there. And by the way, why am I tearing it off and not cutting it? Because if you use stainless steel on a vegetable like lettuce, when you put it back in the refrigerator later, you'll find all the areas that you cut with a stainless steel will turn brown. So unless you have a ceramic knife or a plastic knife, don't cut it, just peel it off. Okay, now we're going to do the topping for it, the garnishment, which is going to be scallions. You guys are familiar with scallions, like green onions? So just lie them out and get them all laid out together, etc. And just run it through. You probably want some pretty thin ones, not big old honking ones like that, but real thin ones. And then we're gonna use this for the topping of the bada bing shrimp. Okay folks, now we're gonna get our shrimp going. Now you wanna get your oil hot, okay? So we got it going pretty toasty, and you may wanna test it by taking just a little bit of the flour that's in there, put it in the corner and just watch it sizzle. That's how you know it's gonna be hot, okay? But not too hot. But one thing we don't wanna do is take this shrimp and just dump it in there, because look at all the cornstarch that's around there. So you've got a couple options to do that. You can just take one after another and put it in your bowl and shake off the excess. You can do that. Or you can get your trusty tongs and you can put them in one at a time. One of these things are jumping all over the place today. And that's kind of what you want right there, is that good sizzle. Okay, that's exactly what you want, that kind of rolling sizzle. It's not too hot, but it's just about right. Keep them separated if you would. And just make sure you shake off your excess. And by the way, if you're doing, I'm not a big fry person, don't do a lot of frying, but if you're going to do this, once it starts frying, you may want to turn the heat up just slightly, because what's going to happen once you put the shrimp in there, it's going to cool the oil down. So just regulate your heat a little bit, but they're going to go pretty quick. So it's a pretty fast situation here. So obviously shrimp cooks quick, but this also cooks quick, and you can see how quick it is. And then just go ahead and start turning them over. Notice I'm not touching the Teflon with my tongs, because I don't want to scratch it. Really should be using some Teflon tongs with Teflon, but we're good to go.
That's right. Don't try this at home. We are professionals.
Yeah, that's right. We are professionals here. So now we got them all done. And by the way, if you want them to go a little quicker, you can always put them in the center, because that's always going to be usually your hottest part of your pan is going to be the center. And they're almost done. They're almost ready to come off in just a minute. And what I've done now, folks, is I've gotten our paper towels ready to go, because you're going to obviously want to drain these things. And we're putting sauce on them in a minute, although they're going to stay crispy. We're going to put sauce on them, so you don't want them real oily. So go ahead and turn this off, if I can remove it from the thing. And just put them right there on your paper towel. And that's it. We got them drained, and we got them drained on our paper towels there. Now we're going to get a bowl and make sure they're all drained off. Throw them in the bowl and put our sauce on there, which we made earlier. Remember that? Notice it's got a very smooth consistency. Just pour it right on top of this shrimp, like there. And then what I like to do is I like to use a rubber spatula for this, just because I'm not going to cut up the shrimp. If you use a metal one, you might cut into the shrimp, etc., but you want the presentation to be a little bit better than that. So notice you've got the sauce all over top of your shrimp, okay? And then take your ramekin, pour it right on top, and you're going to want to stack it nice and good in there.
I got mine.
Okay, and then remember we cut our scallions earlier, and just pop them right on top. And that's it. There's your bada bing shrimp.